Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I want to do a full portfolio update because some things have changed. If you haven't seen our previous video talking about our no NAV erosion strategy, I encourage you to go back and check that video out. But for the long and short of it, if our portfolio drops below 175,000, we reinvest, starting off with our option premium. If that's not enough, then we'll reinvest using dividends in order to prop the value up. And the goal is to make it so it never wants to drop below $175,000. Now, if we don't have to reinvest, then we will take all the money out and spend it because we're semi-retired. Now, I want to update you guys on something before we go any farther. The dividend tracker that I use in these videos, I was a paid member, okay? I went back to the free. Now, technically on the free, you're supposed to have one portfolio and 10 holdings, I believe. Now, I think they let me get by on that because I had two separate portfolios. One's called growth, one's called high dividend yield. And I had 18 in each, and I couldn't add no more. So when I recently bought more, I couldn't put them in my dividend tracker. So I am once again a paid version member of the dividend tracker. I bought another package. Now they have a middle tier now that's like $90 for a year. You can get $5 off that if you do it through a bank account so they don't have credit card fees. But basically I paid $90 for the year and I can pretty much have unlimited as far as holdings. Now I did that way you guys can see what we're doing here, but I wanted to be transparent with you that I'm using this product. Now I would have used the used, the free version, but I have too many positions. So that's something you guys might want to think about. You may say, I want the cheaper plan because they have an even cheaper plan if you have it all in one portfolio. I wanted mine broken into two for growth and for the income side. So I had to go up to a little bit more expensive package. But if you're interested in the dividend tracker, links in the first comment and links in the description box. So let's jump right into the tablet here and check out where we're at and what positions we added. All right, guys, so now we are in the dividend tracker here. Now, currently you can see our value is 180,000. That's because we bought some positions and then the market has been going back up. Now, I don't put a lot of trust in the dividend yield, yield on cost, the income, because if you look at the payout calendar, you'll see upcoming dividends. But the problem is they're not on the right days. They haven't figured out how to do yield maxes every 4-week payment rather than every Friday. And even some of the weeklies that are every Friday, they still haven't figured that out yet. And that's a calendar problem from who they're pulling data from. Snowball has the same issue as far as I understand. A lot of others have the same issue. So it really doesn't matter what track you go to. It's not going to work right in that point. But because we have multiple brokerages, my wife has an account, I have an account. That's how we get our high yield dividend portfolios, by putting the two together. And then we have our growth account, which has Fidelity and our Roths over at Robinhood. So it's just easier to combine it all here. So as we go back to the high yield dividend portfolio, you can bet that these numbers are going to be much higher. The annual net income is going to be way above 80,000. But we'll keep going here. Now, for those you don't know, I'm going to go through a lot of our regular kind of fast and then talk more on the ones we added. So we have 121 shares of AIPI by Rex. We have 13 shares of AMZP from Curve. I believe we rounded those up some. BTCI, we still have 100 shares. We will be working on that more later. And here's the first of our actual true new assets. Now, I want to say this right off the bat. This is a different kind of fund. This is not covered call per se. This is a swap. This is Round Hill's new weekly pay. So this one is COIW, and that's on coin. And as I said, it's a swap, so it's something completely different. It gives diversification, but swaps can be extremely dangerous in certain markets. So you need to know that, do your own research before you would add something like this. But we added 50 shares of that. Now we have 1,500 of Coney, 270 shares of FEPI, 22 shares of Goop, which we added a little bit to that, 50 shares of the new Roundhill HOOW, which is another weekly pay that Roundhill has come out with. So that is another one that swaps. Then we have 100 shares of Hui. Now that is yield max on Robinhood. And the last payment on that was absolutely insane. I mean, I don't think it has it on here. Nope. But it has been amazing. I think it was like $6 it paid. Now we got Misty. Now, recently Misty bought 100 shares of Misty, which makes our cost basis on it look really bad comparatively, because our cost basis is also figured out by return. So we figure out how many dividends we've got and we take that till we're back to house money. And I'll be sharing those numbers with you guys here soon. But yeah, another 100 shares of Misty. She got it at a good price. Then we got NFLP. We rounded that up to 10 shares. And here's another new one. Another one of Roundhill's new swap ones. NVDX. That's on NVIDIA. And that is 50 shares we got of that. Now, next is NVDY, of course. 1,510 shares. And then another one of the weekly pays. PLTW. And we got 50 shares of that, and that's Roundhill's weekly pay on Palantir. Now we got Plady, which is YieldMax version of Palantir. We have 250 shares. QQQI, one of my favorites and probably the most tax efficient fund with a 14% yield you're going to find. 223 shares. You buy this fund, you're basically paying no taxes for the first 10 years on it. I mean, it is literally next to nothing the way they do it. Now, TSLP. I had not wanted to round this up, but my wife wanted all the curve funds to have at least 10 shares because she's doing the books on the return for house money. So she asked if we could round these up. I'm not a big fan of investing in Tesla in any way, shape, or form because of its volatility and the way it runs. It's just hard to play options on it. It's hard to have, cover calls on it. These funds always struggle. So I agreed to let her run it up to 10, but you see I didn't let her go over like on some of the other curve funds. Next is TSMY. It's not fancy, it's not pretty, but it pays 100 shares. Next is XDTE, 478 shares. And I'll be honest, this is not the best position in the world, but you're getting paid out constantly. And taking that money out every single week, you'll be glad you have that. The next is YBTC. Now, for those of you who've been on the channel for a while, we had one share of this, just testing it for a really long time. And honestly, it's not a terrible fund. I won't say it's a great fund. I mean, if I'm looking for Bitcoin exposure, this would probably not be what I'd run to. But it's another weekly payer, and at 50 shares, I'm not out a lot. I feel like it's a good just buy and hold scenario. And if I need to reinvest to take care of propping it up, I will. And then my baby, YMAG. Everybody talks so much trash about this. You see everybody talking about YMAX, and nobody gives YMAG any real love. Every once in a while you get a little 5-cent pay week. But generally we've been running some serious numbers. And coming in at anywhere between, $50 to $170, I can't complain. These payments that are coming in are insane. So I'm always happy to see it pay. Now, you have to understand that this portfolio is basically a bridge. And, we'll have retirement accounts unlocking in about 8 years. And after that time, we've already won the game 100 times over. It honestly doesn't make any sense once you start doing the math on it. But we are producing an income from these income funds. So we just go off the lowball numbers, which is 79,000 from this portfolio. That's what it says we're going to make an income this year. Well, we're doing options on this same portfolio. So we are making two incomes from one portfolio. So we margin against this account to sell options. Realistically, we'll make about 25% extra off options on this thing. Now we're at 180,000. That could fluctuate, so you can look at it however you want. I would say it's pretty much assured we're going to make anywhere between $25,000 and $35,000 in options on top of that. So we'll be making well over $100,000 off this portfolio this year. And with a range of options in here, you can see that we are diversified. And in a year, I'd say probably 2.5 years, we will have all of our money back out of this. So anything after that is just gravy. And then we also have our other portfolio that has both of our Roths, both of our traditionals, our HSA, all growing in the background, doing a similar strategy, but doing it a little more tax efficiently in certain accounts. So as you can see, we added some positions, we rounded up some positions. Really the biggest add was the Round Hill weekly pay ones. I feel like there's diversity in getting out of straight covered calls and into swaps. I will be taking some time here soon, especially if we get another dip. Looking at some put right strategies, having some funds that sell puts. I know that in the past, ones like Nusi have not performed very well, and ones like Defiance have not performed very well. But some of them are doing call right, put right, and some are doing like spreads. There's a lot of options on the market today, but I'm just trying to diversify out. And then if the market keeps working kind of the way it does, going up and down, and if we keep dipping under 175,000, I may get back into real estate and some other things that I used to be big in. I don't think that there's any one answer on how to do this. Obviously, none of this is financial advice. But I will say that if you're willing to manage your portfolio, you don't need $1 million to retire. I'm just going to tell you now. We will be building up more content to show you guys exactly step by step how to engage and look at these funds and find out which ones are right for you and your risk tolerance level in future videos. So make sure you go down, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos, because we got some good ones coming out for you. Make sure you give us a like. Let us know down in the comments what you think. How's your portfolio coming along? We'd love to hear about it. And make sure you watch out, because we put a lot of good traveling content in here that is all paid for by this account. That's how we pay for our travel. That's how we get paid basically when we're on the road, on a cruise ship, on a train, on a plane. You'll never know where you'll find us. We may be backpacking out in the woods, sipping coffee and selling options on a Monday morning. More videos like that to come, and I'll see you in the next one.